Well, I am so elated. I mean, I am truly excited for my next guest. He's the star on Bravo's The Dukes of Melrose, author of Decades, A Century of Fashion, and owner of the legendary Los Angeles store Decades. Now, this man is not only that fabulous, he is truly an icon of fashion, a real living legend, and he's on the Moll Anderson Show. Cameron Silver, hi.
I'm good. I feel so old after that introduction. Like I've accomplished so much.
No, don't feel old. Feel honored. I have to tell you, I mean, I have been more excited about having you on the show than just about anybody ever.
Well, man, the pressure's on me. I better deliver. I better be very witty.
No, you just have to be Cameron.
That's true. And you beat you, and we're in good. We're a perfect match.
Well, I tell you, I can't wait to come in and personally meet you and visit Decades, because I want you to know that you've really helped me with my understanding of fashion. I came late to the game in understanding really couture and vintage and all of this because I was a working mama for a long time, and I have gotten to the place now where I can buy and shop some of these amazing things. And your show and getting to understand who you are and what you do is so helpful. And it's so, not only that, it's enjoyable and it's funny. It's also witty.
It makes me so happy because that's the main goal of a show like this. I think is to be entertaining and informative. And if you've learned, then I've done the Lord's work.
I have learned it, and I can't wait to come in there and personally shop. I
want you to show me how smart you are now.
Yes, I would love to. And you've got to come visit my closet, because I think I have some things in there you might want to take with you.
Oh, I think we've got a very sexy date planned.
I think we do. Well, tell me all about your new book, Decades, A Century of Fashion.
Well, the book is really my fashion Bible. It's set up to be 10 chapters for each century of the 20th, each chapter for each decade, rather, of the 20th century. Right. And it's a very first-person history of fashion, but also incredibly visually stimulating. So I always say you can take the book to bed because there's actually something to read, but it's also visually, we've found photos that have never been published before. It's a massive restoration. The project took almost 5 years.
Wow.
So it's definitely a book that will give you the lowdown on the 20th century of fashion, and I think it makes somebody a more intelligent 21st century consumer, because when you know your past, you know how to go forward and buy things that are better. So it's the best $65 investment you'll ever make.
Well, I can't wait to go get it because I'm already excited about it, as you can tell. Now, I want to ask you this because, the word vintage is thrown around a lot these days. Can you please tell us exactly what qualifies for vintage and what should we look for before purchasing to assure authenticity other than coming to Decades, right?
Well, I have to admit, Decades is now vintage. We were open in 1997. So it used to be things that were over 20 or 25 years old. Okay. Now I like to think things that are of the 20th century, so about 15 years old. But because of all of the changes in the fashion industry with designers retiring or changing houses, things that I would normally consider archival are now future collectibles and really have garnered the reputation of being vintage. So a Tom Ford piece from 99 for Gucci or early work he did for YSL can be collectible. And certainly the last few collections of Valentino, Yves Saint Laurent, certainly Alexander McQueen. Now we're looking at John Galliano for Dior with a little bit more reverence for the value of the clothing.
Absolutely.
So, it may not necessarily be officially vintage in black and white, but it's definitely possible to be collectible in under 15 years.
Well, that makes good sense. And you're right. I mean, when I think of some of the new designers, otherwise I might not have some things that would qualify as vintage unless I bought them as vintage. But you're right, like McQueen. I mean, I own a couple pieces from him before, and I cherish them now. They're so special to me.
And think about, young consumers are so aware of fashion. So they might see a Marc Jacobs piece that's 5 years old they remember seeing on Style.com when they were 9, and now they're a teenager, and to them that's considered vintage. So it's a lot of it is perception and based on your own age. And because things are increasing in value so quickly, it's the smart consumer can buy modern clothing with the idea of building an investment wardrobe.
Right. Well, now, did you always know that you'd be immersed in fashion? Where did you get your passion for fashion?
This is such a ridiculous accident.
I love that.
My bachelor's is in theater. I was an actor and a singer, but I always loved fashion, and my parents really loved fashion. And as an only child, I traveled with them a lot and consequently shopped with them a lot. So I've always enjoyed beautiful things, but this was an amazing fortuitous accident. And, at college I did have to study at UCLA fashion history via costume design. So I learned my fabrics, I learned about technique. And as a consumer, I learned what I liked. And I think ultimately this business is about having good taste. And consequently, I think our clients like my taste, so the business works. But this was never what I planned to do.
Well, I love one of the things that comes across, and there's many things in the show, but I love that you dress for the day, because I am very big on that. And people tease me all the time. They always say, "Where are you going?" And I said, "What do you mean? I'm here. I dressed for the day." And I love that you do that, and that comes across on the show, because that is a campaign of mine.
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with living every day as if you're walking on a red carpet. Now, by that, I don't mean you need to be in a ball gown and a tails tux, but right. Glamour doesn't have to be after 5 p.m. So today I'm in a YSL by Stefano Pilati, almost vintage, khaki double-breasted suit with a rag and bone plaid shirt, but I'm wearing gold pony skin with gold stud Louboutin boat shoes. So,
wow.
So it's like that. Playing dress up is fun. And whenever I look like a slob is when I inevitably run into somebody very
but
influential.
Don't you feel better when you dress for the day? Doesn't it kind of set your mood?
Totally. I love I love the idea of being glamorous all the time. And it's, again, glamour does not mean you have to be in lame and a one-shoulder gown. It's just being a little dressed up. There's plenty of time to be dressed down in life.
That's for sure.
And I always say I'd rather be dressed up than dressed down.
Oh, me too. In
more ways than one.
Well, tell me, Cameron, who inspires you today of the designers?
Well, there's a lot of really wonderful modern designers. I think what Albert Elbaz does at Lanvin is amazing. I love what Ralph Simmons is doing at Christian Dior. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge fan of Itilo's work at Calvin Klein Men's. So, and right now I'm rather passionate about modern menswear because it's a very exciting moment in menswear. I think fashion is just getting so much more progressive in menswear. So I'm really keeping my eye on the emerging menswear designers. But, for women's wear, I love what Mary Catranza is doing with prints. It's such a great British fashion moment. There's so many good British designers. My problem is that, I'm like the Switzerland of fashion, so I love everybody.
Yeah.
And so I spend money everywhere.
I know. That's so hard. Your heart just starts pounding. When something makes your heart go, what are you going to do?
Yes, but, when I was in New York last week, I went to Club Monaco, and that was amazing. It was men's and women looked incredible. So I'm very democratic. I'm not only interested in high designer clothing. I love something like Club Monaco. I love what Trina Turk does. So, that contemporary price point, there's great clothes.
Which is so important, too, because a lot of, my listeners out there are hardworking moms and dads, and they don't have the money to buy vintage or couture. And so it's really about putting your best self forward every day, isn't it?
Completely. And thankfully, we have enough fashion at broad price points that there's great affordable clothing at an H&M. I mean, QVC has great things. It's just the way you style and personalize yourself. And, I don't care what size you are, how old you are, what gender you are, everybody gets to play dress up a little bit. So I'm a true believer that it is a democratic playing ground, and everyone should enjoy expressing their personal style.
Well, if you're just joining me, we're talking with Cameron Silver, icon of fashion, living legend, and star of the Bravo series Dukes of Melrose. I'm telling you, this has been so much fun having you on, but I got to tell you, I love when your parents come on.
Everybody loves my parents. They want to spin off.
Oh, I'm telling you, they are adorable. You are so lucky.
I'm very blessed. I have wonderful parents, and I'm super close with them. And I think they taught me to be a good person. They may not have given me the greatest personal sense of style through. My mom and dad are always like, "How did you get so fancy?" Because my parents are very grounded. But
clearly, they're so cute.
Yeah, they're good. They're good people, but they really taught me to be a good person. And I look at my friends who have children, and I really think about like what my parents did is that they exposed me to everything. When I was 3 years old, we went to South America. I spent my teens every summer in Europe. It's like if there were a lot of opportunities, and obviously it's a little easier when there's only one child. It's
sure.
a big difference.
I know. I have one son, so I understand that.
Yeah, my parents took me to the theater, and they exposed me to so many multicultures. So I never had an issue with eating food. I'm not one of those kids that only eat McDonald's.
Right.
I think the first thing I ate was sashimi and ramen.
I love that. Well, now tell me about Cameron as the child getting dressed to go to school, say, 4th, 5th grade.
Well, I think I think my first fashion moments probably happened around 79, sort of the mid to late 70s with the Annie Hall look. And I can remember going to Fred Siegel in slouchy khakis, a white rolled-up shirt, and a vest and a tie, and a Panama hat, and getting so much attention. Like every salesperson going, "Oh my God, you're so cute." So I think that's when I started to realize the power of a first impression. And in the 80s, of course, I'd made tons of mistakes, and I was punk, I was ska, I was everything. I was preppy. But I always say you can't really have good style until you've had really bad style.
That's right.
I think for celebrities who are still under the watch of fashion pundits, we must celebrate people who step outside the box.
Yes.
Because that makes the world more interesting. So I'm never a believer in cookie cutter fashion. I'm a big believer in individuality of fashion and of character, and I embrace and support people who are a little different in not only in the way they dress, but in the way they think and the way they live, because those are the people who help us progress as a society. We can't all be zombies, and we have to be individuals. So even today, I think I got off the plane from New York, and my friend who took me up was like, "What are you wearing?" I thought it was good. But,
it sounds fabulous.
But apparently it wasn't. So, I think it's par for the course having those train wreck moments.
That's right. Well, tell me about the series, Dukes of Melrose. What was it like for you experiencing your relationship with your partner there at the store, and how he does business? It's very interesting how different the two of you are, but yet it works. It works.
Yeah, we are more or less diametrically opposed in business philosophies.
Yes.
And, filming was pretty exhausting because we had a rather long shoot. We filmed almost like from start to finish. It was practically 8 months.
Oh, wow.
And, filming would happen 4 to 5 days a week. That's just a portion of my life. The whole other part of my life that's not included in the show. I mean, thankfully, my personal life was excluded from it, and so much of my other philanthropic work. So you think, okay, you're filming sometimes a 7 a.m. call time,
sure.
You wrap at 4 o'clock. I still have business to run.
Mm-hmm.
I still have social obligations. I still have a relationship to maintain. I still have my parents. So it's a very exhausting period, and I couldn't work out much because the call times were so early. So it's more or less, watching me put on weight over the 12 episodes we filmed. And as for the dynamics with Krista, we are very, very different. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Based on results, if we do it my way, it works. How's that?
Right. Well, it makes for great television, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely makes things interesting, and a little bit of conflict and confusion is really how retail works anyway.
Yes.
Retail is, you're only as good as the last dress you sold. I haven't sold a dress yet today, so I'm real bad.
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean it when I'm going to come see you, because I'm so excited to check out your store, because I shouldn't even call it a store. It is such a beautiful, should I call it a boutique?
I like to say we're an institution.
An institution.
At this point. We're an entire building.
That's right.
Art Deco building from Melrose Avenue, and I'm always really happy when people come into the store and they think, "Oh my God, it's going to be so intimidating," because we're pretty friendly and nice here, and I really encourage the staff to use this philosophy that everyone who has to come in must leave happier than when they arrived, regardless of whether they bought something. So it's like an extension of my living room, and you come and you hang out, and hopefully occasionally people buy things. But we love our customers. They're part of our family, and I can't wait for you to come to the store.
Well, I can't wait to come. You have such great energy, and you've lifted my spirits for the day. So it's a wonderful feeling when someone does that. And I want you to know that I will come see you, and I hope you'll come back.
I would, with absolute pleasure. And
I would love it.
You enjoy the rest of your day, and let's get united in the flesh.
That sounds
not in biblical terms.
I knew exactly what you meant.
But in fashionable terms.
That's right. And in the meantime, everybody has got to go buy decades, a century of fabulous fashion. I added the fabulous. It's really a decade of century.
Well, we're in our second printing. The book has been a huge hit.
So therefore, it is fabulous.
Yes, thank God.
Oh, well, thanks, Cameron, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
See you soon. Take care.
Take care.